Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Arsepool podcast. I'm your host Danielle. I'm here with my boys today. Tamim, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Um, my other suspicious boy over there in the corner, Dog. How's it going, bro?
Hello, everyone.
And Munchie, how's it going, man? You good?
I'm good, all good. How's it going?
Yeah, all good. So, our two kind of resident United fans to kind of keep the peace between myself and Tamim. Um, it's been a little while since
Well,
we've had our last catch up, Tamim. Three games for both sets of clubs. Um, how are you feeling about it? I guess 100% record. What's your overall feeling?
I'm feeling good overall because, yeah, like you said, it's 100% record. 5 wins in the league, no losses, no draws. That's a great start. I know a lot's been made about like maybe our performance over 90 minutes hasn't always looked the best, and we've had quite a few sort of last minute winners. But yeah, things are maybe looking like they're not clicking as well as it could be, whether that be an attack, midfield, or defense. But I think that just shows the levels to it. Like the fact that we've still won 5 games in the league while maybe not looking at our best, as everyone has sort of said it. That's quite, I see that in a positive way, to be honest with you. So I'm pretty happy with things overall. Yeah, I mean, like I said, things haven't been perfect, and I wouldn't like to leave like games to the last minute to win them. But at the same time, it's not like our performances have been horrible. Like against Burnley, for example, it took a very last minute penalty to win that game. But we were dominating, and it wasn't like we were lucky to win that game. And it was the same against Atletico. Like we had load of chances. Our XG difference was crazy. Like we had, I think, 3 XG, and they had like 0.5 or something. So we completely dominated them. And the fact that it took, to go to the last minute to win the game, we should have been outside before that point anyway. And same goes for Everton. Maybe a little bit less with Everton because Everton gave us a good fight, to be fair. They played better than Atletico, that's for sure. But again, we were still the better team, and we could have won it way before the 90 minutes. And I think, yeah, a lot's been sort of made about those last minute winners, but ultimately they're still within the time period. Whether you score in the first minute or the 90th minute, you're still scoring in that time period that play is being played. So, yeah, overall, happy, I'd say. Very happy with everything.
Mm.
And yeah, more to come, especially with Isak. Yeah, being molded into the team. More to come. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were the beneficiary of a last minute winner yesterday at the Emirates with, no, sorry, it wasn't a winner, an equalizer. It did feel like a winner because it was quite frustrating kind of seeing Pep park the bus for the better parts of 80 odd minutes. Um, yeah. What were your overall feelings, Dog and Munchie? Like, I want to get your kind of takes on kind of how Liverpool have been doing specifically.
Omar, you first. I'll crack on, really. I'm a bit skeptical. I think Liverpool keeps winning at the last minute, and I'm just thinking one of these days the balloon's going to pop. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still getting the points, are they? And that's what matters. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think it all helps, but it hasn't been too convincing so far. But I don't think any Liverpool supporters will be complaining as much. Because I suppose these kind of like last minute winners can literally be the difference between winning the title and not. I'm keen to see how Isak molds into the side. Obviously, we'll get to that later on because I feel like there's been too much dependence on Salah and what have you to kind of score these last minute winners. So if anybody else can step up, and that'll be an interesting thing to see with Liverpool. But yeah, not too convincing, but hey, it's doing the job for them so far. Better than what United's doing.
Yeah, well, we can touch on maybe United at the end of the pod because we've got a lot to catch up on when it comes to both Arsenal and Liverpool. Um, yeah, my take on it, I think, and this is me kind of being quite flattering towards Liverpool. It is a sign of a winning team and a winning mentality that you keep going, you don't give up um, until that final whistle goes. So I have been impressed by it. Um, although really, really frustrated, uh, but both with the Salah winner and yeah, especially the Atleti winner as well. I have to say, I watched the first 30 minutes of the Merseyside derby, and when I got to 2-0, I went, "Oh, this is going to be an absolute hammering," because the way Slot lined up was a very reminiscent of last season. Verts was dropped. By the way, 115 million pounds and pulling out stinkers left, right, and centre. Let's not forget. Um,
I want to say stinkers, but yeah, they've not been good.
hey, like Gilchrist is getting hate after 3 goals in 5 games, so like
Fair
someone has to
enough.
get back to Verts, yeah. Um,
So
Fair
do
play.
you, as an Arsenal fan, do you are you frustrated that Liverpool seems to be getting away with these last minute winners? Like,
yeah,
how
yeah,
is
of
it been
course,
for you?
man.
Or do you kind of sense it's an opportunity for you guys to pounce? Because let's be honest, I think
It's
most Arsenal fans would feel after all the signings that this should be their year.
yeah, of course.
I actually still, even I look at, sorry to interrupt, I even look at Liverpool, how they're playing, and I think, Arsenal could very easily like take over at some stage. There's bound to be a slip up. So yeah.
Yeah, like for me that Newcastle performance away from home,
Mm.
um, from Liverpool, there was a lot of frustration with how Newcastle approached it. Like they went gung ho with 10 men, trying to get that winner when they could easily just shut up shop and would have been happy. Like I think that their fans would have been thrilled with a point, um, all things considered. Um, but hey, look, it's a long season, um, and again, both sets of clubs have had new players come in, and that has inevitably meant a new style of approach in terms of how they approach games. And it's going to take time. Obviously, Liverpool have been getting away with it, so to speak. And Arsenal have had the trickier starts. Away to United, away to Liverpool, and out at home to Man City. And next week as well, we've got Forest. Um, Not mentioning the League Cup tie against Port Vale. So I think you'll start to see what the league really truly looks like by Christmas time. The true season starts now. 3 games a week. You got trips to Stoke for Arsenal, away from home. I don't know who Liverpool have got, Tamim, in the League Cup.
In the League Cup, we have Southampton,
Is that away or home?
and I think it's at Anfield. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
we're home.
okay,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, but even still,
Palace in the league after.
yeah, yeah, 3 games. The the squad will be stretched. We saw Bernardo Silva complaining about the amount of rest time they had between their tie on Thursday at home and then having to travel to Arsenal on the Sunday. So yeah, now we'll see. And then
Mm.
Arsenal literally have been picking up an injury after every single match week.
By the
Um,
way, now.
Yeah, yeah. So Madueke coming off at half time, who was probably our liveliest player. You know, I mean, we were frustrating for a good 40 minutes, I have to say. It was a great goal by Haaland. Great transition from a kind of poor Calafiori cross. Reiner's kind of like Reiner's and City broke out really, really well. And then as soon as Haaland has that amount of space, you just know it's going in the back of the net. Especially in the form that he's in after kind of destroying United last week. Boys, I had to put that in there. Um, yeah, you just knew it was going to be a goal. And then to see that kind of complete role reversal in a weird sort of way, the one thing Arteta has been criticised for has been conservatism. And then Pep basically playing like they had 10 men, kind
Mm.
of like 11 men behind the ball, one of the dirtiest low blocks you'll probably see this season. Um, Basically frustrating Arsenal for the best part of 90 minutes. Um, yeah,
It's not by Pep, I think it was smart.
yeah, and kind of on that, Arteta's approach, like he's been getting a lot of criticism. I think we spoke about this kind of following the Arsenal Liverpool game time in. Um, so he started Marino and he started with Trossard on the left. Now me personally, I was happy with Marino kind of starting the game, but it was the omission of Eberechi Eze, which I think raised a lot of eyebrows. And we saw against Athletic Club, Athletic Bilbao, he probably's not in tune with Arteta's system just yet. Um, Arteta was kind of screaming at him to kind of get high and wide on Tuesday night. So there was a bit of surprise there, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans wanted him to kind of provide the X factor um, on Sunday against Man City, and there was this expectation that we had to beat Manchester City. Like, this is a very weak Man City side that they've already lost to Tottenham, they've already lost to Brighton away. And there was this expectation that we'll go there and just roll them over like we did last season. We did beat them 5-1. And again, I do think that lineup was kind of what he kind of had in mind against Liverpool, and I keep it tight, 0-0, 20 minutes to go, throw on your best players in Saka and Eze, and as soon as the other team scores, that game plan goes out the window. And like from an Arsenal perspective, I just hope Arteta kind of learns from that. Um, Again, he took Marino off, he did put Eze on, so you could say that that is a sign of learning.
Hmm.
And Saka did come on kind of as a bit of an enforced change, really, for Madueke. Um, and yet, in the first 15 minutes, it was kind of all guns blazing. Like Arsenal looked like Arsenal again. It was Saka back on the right. Eze was kind of pulling the strings, and we just kind of needed to get that first goal, really, in that first 15 minutes. Eze had a good shot from a volley that kind of tested Donnarumma. Calafiori kind of had a glancing miss header that kind of made the crowd gasp. And then there was that Gyökeres. He kind of got his timing wrong with the chance that went across the goal. Um, and then after kind of 60, 65 minutes, it was like, that's it now. City are shining up shop. Haaland came off after 70 odd minutes, and it almost felt like a crushing defeat. If it wasn't for a bit of brilliance from Eze and Martinelli. I have to give Martinelli his credit, Tammy, because I was slating him after our last pod for his kind of indecision. But he's kind of made our week this week from an Arsenal perspective, getting that late winner for Athletic in the Champions League, and then that chip ball over Donnarumma. Yeah, it was a bit of pure brilliance from him and Eze really to get that equaliser.
He's
Um,
always been a good player. No, maybe not a great player, but a good player for sure. I'll say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Tamim, as a Liverpool supporter, how do you feel about Arsenal? Do you sort of feel like, well, how do you feel about your team in the sense that if Salah was to get injured, do you think there's enough players in the side to kind of step up?
Yeah.
Um, because I think with
Um,
Arsenal, I don't know why.
mm,
I don't feel like they're too far away from Liverpool. Yeah, they may
mm,
have dropped the ball, but something just tells me that if Salah or someone's going to get injured this year, a
mm,
major player, and I'm just wondering, do you
yeah.
think Liverpool can cope this year if they have a setback like that?
So I think we can. I think, we've got a lot of difference makers, like bringing in Ekitike, who's looking brilliant, having Isak in their team, a world-class striker. Gakpo has proven he can win games for us. We've even got threats, goal threats from defense like Van Dijk. We have Kirkez, Frimpong, who are attacking fullbacks. I think we have enough, yeah, certainly. And even the conversation we had before about like how we've maybe looked a bit unconvincing. While I agree with all of that, and it might look like if we have our best players injured, it'll look even worse. I would say that I've never felt uncomfortable going into a game, even when watching our games. Even the games where we've maybe looked poor in possession, I felt way more comfortable watching us this year and even last year compared to maybe 3, 4 years ago, even under Klopp. Because we had a style of play under Klopp that would produce enough chances. And what you see with Pep and Arteta is a style of play to produce chances. Whereas we have this sort of team now where even if we have a very poor performance, you can have Salah just cut in and shoot and score a goal and win the game for us. Those kind of difference makers. So I'm
I think
actually not as worried in terms of style of play and injuries too,
mm,
with how we're going to do. Am I worried about Arsenal? Yeah, I mean, I've said it from the start of the season that Arsenal would be our biggest threat for sure, more so than Man City, because I feel like Man City didn't address their defense issue very well. They haven't replaced Kyle Walker. So I still think, yeah, Arsenal, I think it's 50-50. I worry for Arsenal just like I did worry about Arsenal last season. So no different to how I worry about them. Yeah, they are clearly the biggest threat. They're a very, capable squad, very big squad with world-class players. Arsenal are going to be a threat.
I think
Yeah.
the word is control, right? The one thing which kind of Klopp with his kind of brand of heavy metal football, maybe didn't have at times, was that level of control that Slot has
Mm.
kind of instilled in this team now, I think.
Mm.
So I think that's kind of been the biggest change. But yeah, there is an
Mm.
adaptation period, I think, as we mentioned before, in terms of the likes of Verts, likes of Frimpong, Kerkez,
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Ekitike. To be fair, Ekitike is kind of taken to the league like a duck to water, really,
He looks
in
so
some
comfortable,
ways.
very comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I
so
really like him. Yeah, he's a good player.
and like we're in a bit of a strange situation where like we were looking at kind of um Isak kind of being the backup to Ekitike, which
Mm.
it's a kind of weird situation right now. Obviously, Isak's kind
Mm.
of getting the his fitness levels up as he didn't really have a
Mm.
preseason.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I
yeah.
mean, Liverpool have always kind of had that threat. Obviously with Jota before, with Darwin before. We also had um,
Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz, yes, who's left now, and there were massive threats, massive
Mm.
threats. I saw that there was like social media tweet that a fan posted like name a bigger upgrade or something, and then Salah kind of chimed in and was like, let's not disrespect
Oh yeah,
the
so
current
that yeah,
Premier League
yeah, yeah.
champions.
That was yeah, that's not great. On paper, yeah, Wirtz and Isak, the names look better than Nunez and Diaz, but they've not done anything yet, have they? And Diaz saved us many times. Even Nunez, as much as he got memed for his misses, he had plenty of game winners for us
Yeah,
and plenty of good
pure
winners
chaos
for us.
factor.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
for
so yeah,
sure.
it's about kind of developing new relationships and
Mm,
yeah, like obviously Liverpool have been winning and quote unquote getting away with it.
mm,
And the same applies to Arsenal, I guess. You know, I think we mentioned before, Tam, kind of unprecedented summer from an Arsenal perspective. The amount of new signings that have come into to the squad and team. Arsenal have a sense of unpredictability about them.
mm,
Um, to the extent that like our own fans can't predict the lineup, and maybe even Arteta to a degree. Like even he might be umming and ahhing about what is our best lineup after kind of seeing what we did
mm.
against Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, um, it
You
will
know,
be
I'm gonna
very
jump.
interesting to see
Yeah.
his
You know,
lineup
I'm gonna
next week.
jump in here, bro. I'm sorry, I have to jump in.
Yeah, jump in,
You're
bro.
saying Arsenal's made with these signings. That means you guys have no excuses now. Because the last couple of seasons, all I've ever heard from Arsenal is, "Oh, one of our players got injured, therefore we lost the season." Gabriel got injured. What's the other defender's name? I can't remember. Someone else got
Saliba.
injured. This
Yes,
that. It's
yes,
like
yes. Saliba did
now's
get
the
injured.
time.
Yeah,
Now's the time for Arsenal to max it out. I'm listening to you. I respect your freedom of speech. Yeah, freedom of speech. Article 5, UNHCR, whatever. Yeah, but now's the time for you guys to stop the excuses and actually win something. I'm sorry, you can't be telling me
I
that you
agree,
guys have.
bro. I'm not. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going
You
to. Not
can't
gonna,
disagree with me, okay? It's not that you're not going. You can't. You guys have made all these purchases. Yeah, you have to do something about it. Like
yeah,
you
of
have
course,
to.
man.
This is the time.
And I think I Arteta has to as well. Like One thing which I do want to vent about. So Richard Keys said last week, after he rested Declan Rice, Richard Keys said that the one thing that will stop Arsenal from winning the title is Mikel Arteta himself. Now that really kind of grated me because I was like, you know, this guy, like in terms of Richard Keys, like has no idea about kind of the intricacies of the fitness levels of the players, um, how well the likes of Marino had been doing on international duty. And I had a really good explanation of why he started Marino last week at Forest. Um, but I have to say, yesterday there was an element of truth to that. There did feel like an element of truth to that. Like Arteta's conservatism, and in terms of him kind of playing with that handbrake on, to use a Wengerism, um, could very well prevent us from winning the title. Like yesterday really felt like 2 points dropped. Um, I- like in my mind, if he starts Eze, even with Marino on the pitch, we win that game. And Trossard's been great as a finisher, but Eze being there, like we saw, he has that X factor, like that chip ball over the top of a really packed defense. Um, I have no doubt in my mind he could have done something in the first 40 minutes. Some of the analysis from Jamie Carragher has been, Arsenal wasted basically the first 45 minutes of the match. And it did feel like that. It was kind of like Madueke and Inshallah, basically. Like, pass to Madueke and let's see what happens. Um, and yeah, like he generated a good couple of chances, but again, it wasn't enough. And he's not Saka. Um,
It's
and
predictable as well, wasn't it? Like you said, it was just that side you were attacking from. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
predictable.
And then as soon as Eze and Saka came on, like we looked a different side. Um, so
Like, you know
so
how much
yeah.
I hate Arsenal, right? Like, let's not make any attempt like to hide that. I do despise Arsenal, but even I can kind of sit here and say you've got everything there to win the league or win something, even if it's the Champions League.
My prediction at the beginning of the season,
I do agree.
and I'm on record on saying this, was I didn't expect us to win the league, but I expect us to win the Champions League, just because of
Yeah.
the depth of squad. And I just feel like, again, Liverpool, with all their signings, with Ekitike, with Isak, um, could potentially kind of walk this league. But the Champions League is slightly different. And I felt like that PSG tie from last season really hurt us. And it's the one trophy that's eluded us
Mm.
in our entire existence. And I just feel like if we can get past that quarterfinal stage, I felt it last season,
Mm.
but now like with the depth of squad that we have, hopefully we can go far. I'm just hoping that Madueke isn't too seriously hurt. That there was rumors of an ACL, which kind of have been proven to be false. Just hoping it doesn't require any surgery or anything like that. But just to run off that injury list, dog, Kai Havertz, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Ben White only just returned. Saliba was injured at Anfield, only just returned. Now Noni Madueke. Again, we've invested well, but you can't win anything without your best players being on the pitch.
Would you be satisfied if Arsenal won the FA Cup but they didn't win the UCL or Premier League this year?
No, I'll be happy. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
Silverware, and I'll be happy for Arteta. Um,
But
but yeah, it has to be one of the
yeah,
big two. It has to be one of the big two. It has to be one of the
I
big
can
two.
see you guys going far in Europe again. I don't know why, but I think the UCL kind of plays to Arsenal's way of football.
Yeah,
Because I
I
know it's
agree.
like when you
I
guys have
agree.
done well, like especially against Real Madrid, it was just free flowing, like fearless football. There wasn't a focus on, let's get to the semis or the final. It's like, let's just beat the team that's in front of us. And I think when Arsenal plays with that mindset, as you saw against Real Madrid, they were phenomenal. But then when there's always this expectation of, oh, we could win the league or we could go to the final, I think they just falter in that sense. Like, yeah, I know you were saying they were good against PSG last year, but I think they were their own worst enemy in that game. They could have easily won it, looking at some of the chances Saka had and stuff. But I think maybe when they put too much
Yeah.
pressure on themselves, they do fall apart. That's my only concern there. And that's
What
not
what
me
what?
like saying you guys are bottlers, but I am. But it's like, you know what I mean, though, right? I mean, they're a team that kind of, I think sometimes pressure can, they're a bit like Pakistan, you know. The pressure gets to them, you know. They just choke when they don't need to choke. They lose a winning game, they win a losing game. Okay, the pain is too much. I'm sorry. Okay, I hope I don't get flag restricted here by language. It's just frustrating. I'll go on mute for now.
You mentioned about chance we created against PSG. We're the only club to beat them. Literally, we did win 2-0 at home, and then we did beat them on XG. But yeah, XG champions of the world, yay!
Got the XG trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now's the time to deliver. Let's see how we are health-wise, both from an Arsenal and Liverpool perspective against Port Vale and Southampton. Who have you got in the league, Tamim, next week?
We've got Palace, I think. Palace away. That's a
Palace
tough
away.
game.
That is a tough game. That is a tough game. Hopefully,
They're
Mateta.
unbeaten, aren't they? Like since
Yeah.
April,
They
apparently. That's
they
crazy,
they
crazy
beat you.
stat.
They beat you boys as well in the Community Shield. Let's not forget.
Yep, they did. Yep,
Um,
yep. It'll be forgotten at the end of the season, I'm sure.
Fine talk there, Tamim. Someone's clearly believed in that Community Shield
Confident.
curse.
Hopefully, it doesn't come back and bite me.
Yeah. I think it's time to wrap up. I think a quick word on United. United did beat Chelsea 2-1 with some good play. Kind of blew them out of the water in the first 15 minutes, resulting in Robert Sanchez getting sent off. Um, yeah, well, still think he's under a lot of pressure. Ruben Amorim. Um, it will be interesting to see what happens there. What's your takes, Monchi, before we wrap up?
Yeah, still got a long way to go. Yeah, he is under the pressure. I don't think we should get rid of him. I'm generally not a fan of the churning out the managers. I do think he should be given a little bit more time. Maybe, obviously, if things are going from bad to worse, then yeah, might have to be. But if we can maintain some sort of consistency, then I would stick with him. I know he's a bit stubborn and he wants to stick with his style of play, which I think he needs to move on from that. Particularly in the Premier League, you do have to learn how to adapt because it is such an intense league with a lot of different styles of play. Um, so I think if he can just sort of adapt his mentality a little bit, it probably will help the team a long way. But I wouldn't say I would want to get rid of him. I do like him. I do like his sort of charisma that he brings a little bit. So yeah, so I would say I would rather stick with him than get rid. But I think he just needs to adapt
Mm,
himself a little bit more to the league, just so he can then push the team onwards there. Because the only way the team will get better is if we get results.
mm, mm. Yeah. It was interesting. You shared something offline with us about his United's data looking really positive, despite not the results kind of falling away. It did kind of result in a Donnarumma world class save from Brian Broma last week to kind of keep it
Mm.
0-0, and then like we said, kind of Erling Haaland being Erling Haaland essentially.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, let's see if United have turned the corner. Who have you boys got next week?
We're Brentford, I think away to Brentford.
Okay.
Let me
Slightly
check.
tricky. I think it's away. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, no league cup tie for your boys after being knocked out by Grimsby Town, but
Nope.
that could prove to be a good thing for you
Can't
lot
forget that one.
because 1 week of coaching could be a positive thing.
Well, we sort of had that with the fact that we're not in Europe. So I think a decent cup run would have given the team a bit of a morale boost. Um, so yeah, the fact that we got knocked out, I don't think is too much of a benefit in this particular one. As I said, because we're not in Europe. If we were still in Europe, then I'd been all right, fair enough. But where we're not in Europe, I think the benefits of being within the cup runs outweighs not being in it.
True. True.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Mhm. Yeah, I always found that in previous years, I can't recall the exact years, but when I'd say oh, we're knocked out the cup, that's good, gives us more, in the league. I just those years it just never worked out to have a double league performance as well. So I think you make a good win, Omar, and a good cup run. There's a psychological element to it, while it's such a in the sport, isn't it? So yeah, I think no, it's just good that you sort of made, and I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it with my club as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a key one. It could be a key one for your season. Like you said, Amarim probably needs more time. I know we've said that many times and we've heard it all before. But yeah, his system worked at Sporting. It's a different league, different club. And you hope that if he's got the right players, it can work. I think it can. He's had some good performances like last year. You guys beat Man City, didn't you? You've had a few good performances there.
Yeah,
It
but
seems like when you have teams come at you, you do really well.
but
But
Tamim,
teams that can't
everyone
give
beat Man
us,
City last season.
do.
It wasn't a
Fair
particularly
enough.
good
Yeah,
defeat.
fair
Yeah,
enough. Not a prime Pep City, but
yeah, for sure,
still a dangerous one.
for sure, for sure. Um, any closing thoughts, guys, before we wrap up? I have to say I'm nervous for Newcastle away next week. It's a ground we always struggle
Mm.
on. Um,
Mm.
and again, I just hope Arteta has learned that he has to play his best players. And I just hope he doesn't go with um, like a Trossard and Marino sort of midfield again. Like I hope again, I don't mind Marino starting, but for me, as it has to be on that pitch, we need that star power. And I'm fine
Mm.
with Gabriel Martinelli
Next week
coming
again.
on as a super sub, a bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Um, yeah, what's your thoughts for Palace next week?
Yeah, I'm nervous too because of what Glasner has done and the record that Palace have and what they did to us in the Community Shield. I repeat, I think we'll be more on it for sure. And that we didn't try in the Community Shield, but of course now the season's players are more gelled. Yeah, I'm still hopeful. Yeah, I think I've seen enough against us, against Everton. And, it's Crystal Palace are way better than those two teams. Yeah, it's a different team, different approach, but yeah, nervous but hopeful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on United Brentford, United boys?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be an easy game. Brentford never is. Especially when we're playing at their ground. They have become a bit of a bogey team for us as well. Um, I think even though we've come off the back of the Chelsea win, it was for half the match 11 against 10. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't say I'm going in with loads of confidence. Uh,
I
but
expect you to beat them. By the way, like they've lost in Burmo, they've lost Thomas Frank, they've lost Christian Norgard. Like United have a lot of firepower, so I do expect you to go there and win. Um,
They said the same about Grimsby, the Nod. How did
yeah,
that turn out? I'll be honest with you, like everybody's singing United's praises right now. The United are back on, whatever. They'll lose to Brentford, or it'll be a draw. It'll be a boring 0-0 draw, or they'll lose 2-0. And you'll see the thumbnail on the Sky Sports channel on YouTube with Bruno looking down like that. I'm telling you, United are not going to win, but they're going to finish in the bottom half this year. I mean, I do agree with the sentiments that Amarin should be kept on. He deserves a full season. He deserves next season as well. But yeah, that club is toxic, and I'm
And the
sure
season
you're.
after, and the season after.
Yeah, the
yeah,
season
here,
after.
here,
Yeah.
here, here. We all agree.
See, I can only hear one champion. I can only hear like one Premier League and UCL champion team speaking right now. Listen, yo, once you guys win, yeah, then you're allowed to talk. Otherwise, put yourself on mute, fam. How dare you? How dare you, blood? But no, yeah, same old story with United. I'm sure they're going to be held to a draw. They'll probably lose to Brentford. If they do win, it won't be a convincing win. It'll be about 1-0, 2-0. But yeah, same old story, United. So that's my final thoughts.
All right. Good boys. All right. Thank you to our listeners for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see what happens on Arsenal, Liverpool, and maybe United next weekend. Till the next time. Thank you all again.
Thanks, everyone.